Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Thomas. You're watching ABC 10 Plus this week. An explosion at a fireworks warehouse in Esparto leaves families searching for answers and a community shaken. And in dollars and cents, expert tips to stay on track with your 2025 money goals. Then we hit the back roads. John Bartel takes us to Kings Canyon National Park. ABC 10 Plus this week starts now. 3 days after an explosion at a fireworks warehouse in Yolo County, human remains have been found. Recovery efforts are expected to continue through the weekend. ABC 10's Gabriel Porras is live in Esparto tonight, and we're now starting to uncover the connections both law enforcement and fire officials have to that building that exploded, right?
That's right, and things haven't changed much in the 3 days since the tragedy, at least from what we can see. First responders still have this massive area blocked off. This is still as close as we're allowed to get, but beyond the barricades here a half-mile away, we know remains are still being recovered. The blast hit close to home for this entire small Yolo County community, and even for the first responders who are now doing that heartbreaking work. Tuesday's deadly explosion at a fireworks warehouse in Esparto left Johnny Ramos's 2 sons and 5 others missing. And this morning, more pain.
I'm alive, but at the same time, I'm dead.
No parent could ever prepare for his form of pain.
Supposed to be they find 2 bodies, one yesterday, one today. And they now checking, the place.
It took 3 days until the coroner's office could enter the rubble. On Friday, they announced the discovery of multiple unidentified human remains.
It's all my life, and my 2 kids. And they don't care, everything is mystery right now.
Mysteries like, how did this happen? How could a stockpile of so many fireworks shows be stored in one place and suddenly detonate? ABC 10 learning Friday that Yolo County Lieutenant Sam Machado's home, just feet from the blast site, was destroyed. Federal licenses tying him to a gun sales business at the address, according to an ATF search. Craig Cutright, a former volunteer firefighter with the Esparto Fire Protection District, operated next door under the business Black Star Fireworks. The Fire Protection District confirming that Cutright is no longer an active volunteer. Cutright told ABC 10 Tuesday night that the San Francisco-based Devastating Pyrotechnics also operated out of the Esparto address. Records show both companies hold valid licenses with the state fire marshal.
I don't have no words.
For Ramos, now just memories and so many questions.
They are a hard worker, good kid. They graduated from high school in San Francisco. They're supposed to be fight with the fire. They don't fight. They don't do nothing. They don't care,
And we are learning tonight that the local jurisdictions had not permitted this fireworks facility in the first place. Adding to the frustration for families is the silence from authorities. No press conferences today, no one made available for an on-camera interview, and these roadblocks, well, they haven't moved for days. Live in Esparto tonight, Gabriel Porras, ABC 10.
A difficult time for so many families who just want answers. Keep us posted as you learn more, Gabriel. Thank you. Now, keep in mind, we did reach out to Sam Machado, Craig Cutright, and the attorney representing Devastating Pyrotechnics, but we have not heard back. Meanwhile, the state fire marshal is speaking out tonight as the search continues for those missing people. Here's what we know. He says it has now been determined the local jurisdiction had not permitted this location to store fireworks. He says that is going to be an important piece for them to investigate why they did not have a local permit. The companies operating on site had several state permits. He added that local permits are also required for fireworks storage. He says the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives, ATF, issues the standards on storage spacing and safety. The state fire marshal is leading the investigation and is being assisted by the ATF and Esparto Fire.
We have very stiff penalties towards the illegal storage, the illegal transportation, and the illegal use of fireworks. Up to $50,000 of fines, up to a year in prison. And obviously, in the situation happening in Yolo County, with potentially now several individuals dying because of the fire, all eyes right now are on exactly what happened and making sure that we hold, if anything was, rules were broken, holding those individuals accountable.
The fire marshal says they have identified a number of, quote, red flags in the last couple of days. Investigators are expected to be on site over the weekend. And we've been streaming the latest updates on the fireworks warehouse explosion on the ABC10 Plus TV streaming app. The app is free to download on your TV.
We've been following this breaking news for almost 24 hours now.
Yeah, that massive explosion is not only impacting Yolo County, but also several other communities right here in Northern California.
The families of the missing people are demanding answers tonight. Officials have not confirmed their identities. We have live team coverage for you tonight. ABC 10's Garshpal Sangha has the newest details on the investigation live from the scene.
But we do start with ABC 10's Luke Clary live in Esparto. And Luke, I know you spoke to a woman who says her boyfriend was working at the location and he's sadly now missing.
Yes, that's right, Chris. Laura, I spoke today to a young woman who had a very intense exchange with fire officials. She says that her boyfriend was working at the fireworks facility when it exploded. It was his first day on the job, just as she and this young man were about to embark on a new chapter of life together. The site of the explosion still smoldering in the distance. Desperation behind the caution tape almost a mile away.
Sorry. He had a baby on the way.
In the midst of a media scrum, Ciana Ruiz is in search of answers. Her boyfriend, 18-year-old Jesus Manceses Ramos, one of the 7 people still missing, and the father of her unborn child.
He saw it as a new chapter in our life. He was excited.
Ruiz says it was his first day on the job, a short-term fireworks gig, alongside his brothers Johnny Ramos and Junior Melendez, both in their 20s, both also still missing. Hours after the explosion shook homes and triggered evacuations, as fire crews had to hold back for their own safety, Ciana pressed officials on the perimeter.
If anybody had even tried saving them anything, nothing.
So we sought answers for her. Are you communicating with their families? Because there are some folks here who say they don't know what's going on.
There has been communication with family, and I understand that it's not the communication that everybody would probably want to hear. But again, we are doing our best with the information that we have.
Still not satisfied, Ciana took matters into her own hands.
3 people that we've been focusing on. We were here since yesterday and have yet to receive any information, have yet to see any efforts, and have yet to see anybody go to try and find anybody at all.
The reason we have not been on site to do that is because the danger presented.
Okay, but you guys are supposed to protect us from danger, and you guys are supposed to deal with the danger. So why isn't that you guys aren't dealing with it yet enough?
A tense exchange, officials explaining.
We are doing what we can from the site through aerial investigations.
They're probably struggling, stuck under debris.
Ciana said her piece and walked away, holding on to hope under the weight of her worry.
They were all 3 incredible men who had so much coming for them. And I'm just praying to God some way, somehow, that they're okay.
Some intense emotional moments there as this small town grapples with the explosion that happened here. Esparto is a very small town. I've been speaking to people here, many of whom weren't even aware that such a fireworks facility existed just a few miles outside of town. Many people here have questions tonight. Chris, Laura?
Our thoughts are certainly with all the families impacted by this tragedy. Our Luke Clary reporting live for us. We thank you, Luke.
Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Laura Painter.
And I'm Chris Thomas. We have continuing coverage tracking the latest developments on the fireworks warehouse explosion. We have live team coverage today. We're learning new information about some of the 7 people who are still missing. And we're taking a closer look at the warehouse and the investigation.
We start tonight with ABC 10's Gabriel Porras, who is live at the scene. Gabriel, tell us what you've learned today.
Well, Chris and Laura, we are learning that there is still so much more work ahead for first responders, obviously for investigators, but also for fire crews. There might not be much smoke out here right now, but this fire is still considered active. This is as close as we've been able to get to the scene so far. Still a long distance away, but from here we can at least see officials working at the explosion site, something they say wasn't safe enough to do even 24 hours ago. In this quiet corner of Yolo County, daybreak brought little change to the decimated scene where a fireworks warehouse exploded Tuesday. Families of the 7 people missing still seeking answers.
We will not be accepting any questions at this time.
Law enforcement and fire officials still evading questions.
I can hear good,
And Elicio Sandoval Perez still has trouble hearing.
I hear the explosion very hard, and I hear I feel the wall from the house like a shaking.
That was his sign to evacuate Tuesday night with his wife and her grandchildren, returning Thursday to no power.
This is the second one.
And almost no windows.
The third. Miramos varias cosas caídas.
He says items inside their home fell over, a door cracked, and at least 8 windows shattered.
I don't feel good. These 2 days, I don't feel nothing good.
But the damage is nothing compared to Johnny Ramos's pain. His 18-year-old son Jesus and 22-year-old son Johnny still missing.
No puede haber una muerte más cruel que esa.
He says there couldn't be a more cruel way to die. He believes their bodies could be in the rubble officials entered Thursday.
Our objective is to make the area safe so that we can continue to bring more crews in. Over the evening and into the morning, we've had several more responders moving into the area, and our operation is starting to get a little larger.
Also getting larger, the list of questions.
The Board of Supervisors is working with our department heads, our county administrator, our law enforcement agencies to ensure that the ordinances, policies, and procedures were followed.
In a quiet town shaken by a blast, the only thing louder are the questions and the grief.
I must ask and beg for your patience as we work through the scene. This team of public safety professionals who are working on the scene right now are doing everything they can to bring you the answers and the closure that you're looking for.
It's a cruel death. Cruel death.
And we are told that those families of the missing are getting hotel and food vouchers from the county. Obviously, that's the last thing on their minds. They just want to know what happened here and why. And just down the street here, that's what investigators say. They are working so hard to find out. Live in Esparto, Gabriel Porras, ABC10.
Gabriel, I can only imagine the pain those families are dealing with right now. Our hearts go out to them. Keep us posted as you learn more. Gabriel, thank you.
Well, the California Department of Insurance says it is just weeks away from an important step on the path to stabilizing the state's insurance market. Now, many of you have told us that you are really having trouble finding home or even renter's insurance unaffordable or unavailable. So ABC10's Becca Haubecker is joining us in studio now. And Becca, this is something that's really been years in the making, right?
Yeah, Alex, in 2023, the California Insurance Commissioner announced plans to overhaul the state's insurance regulations by the end of 2024. Now, he hit all of the deadlines he set for his department, but some of those changes were going to take a while to actually come into effect, and that's just about where we are right now.
In recent years, 7 of California's 12 biggest homeowners insurance companies have paused or limited business in the state, citing growing risks due to climate change, the rising cost of doing business, and burdensome state regulations. Those market changes have driven up the cost of insurance for property owners and even renters, and many homeowners have had to turn to the California FAIR Plan, the bare-bones, high-cost fire insurance of last resort.
California is at an insurance crossroad.
As a result, nearly 2 years ago, California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara unveiled his so-called sustainable insurance strategy. As part of it, he agreed to give insurance companies 2 tools they've wanted for years, but an insurer can only use those tools if it agrees to write more policies in high wildfire risk areas. Those areas encompass half of the state's 58 counties and more than 650 zip codes.
My top priority is for people to have more choices in a competitive market.
Commissioner Lara testified Wednesday at a hearing of the Assembly Insurance Committee, saying those tools are weeks away from becoming available. Under state law, insurance companies must get permission from the commissioner before raising rates. They submit applications justifying the rate increase they want. These two new tools will allow companies to use forward-looking so-called catastrophe modeling to predict future risk and factor in the cost of California-only reinsurance, basically insurance for insurers. The department is on the verge of approving 3 different catastrophe models insurers can use.
That's why you haven't seen really the market correct itself yet with these new tools, because we had to make sure that we reviewed and approved these catastrophe models first.
We have already heard from companies who represent about half of the overall marketplace. And what they've said to us is, when you've done your work, we're going to do our work. We're going to write more policies.
The insurance commissioner says with these changes, we should see the market beginning to stabilize later this year or early next year. Alex?
All right, Becca, thank you. And the To The Point team spent months investigating the home insurance crisis, hearing from homeowners, lawmakers, and the insurance commissioner himself. You can stream the special investigation right now on the ABC10 Plus TV streaming app.
Time now for Dollars and Cents. Hard to believe, but we're already halfway through the year, and it's a great time to ask yourself, how are your money goals going? Back in January, we talked about making new money goals and how to set yourself up for financial success in 2025. I talked with a Sacramento-based financial coach to help you size up your progress and stay on track. Start by looking at your accounts. This includes checking accounts, savings accounts, and investment accounts. Are those dollar amounts where you want them to be?
Maybe there's some catching up that you need to do, or maybe there's some scaling back that you can afford to do.
Paley recommends, in addition to examining your accounts midway through the year, keep it up monthly or at least quarterly. Next, run your credit score. You should know not only the number, but also the factors behind that score.
Let's say you're not exactly pleased with the score, you think it's a little challenged and you'd like it to go up. If you know the factors that are contributing to the score, then you know basically how to fix that.
Also, run your credit report. Your credit report has all the information that generates your credit score.
Halfway through the year is a great time to make sure that when we look at our credit report, no new lines of credit have been taken out that we're unfamiliar with. Everything that's reported on there is accurate.
That includes old addresses, current address, and any name changes. Double check any debts you may have paid off are also captured in the report correctly. Credit reports aren't always perfect. There can be inaccuracies. Paley recommends running your credit report twice a year. Remember, federal law says everyone has the legal right to a free credit report once every 12 months for each of the 3 reporting bureaus: Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Now, as people are looking through their numbers and they're not quite where they want them to be, what's some advice to help get them back on track?
I think what's really powerful is taking a look at your month-to-month cash flow. Once you have a sense of what you're working with, that's where you can either take steps to increase income and also reducing expenses. What are the things that can go?
Paley says it'd be great if you could increase income and reduce expenses at the same time and put that extra money into your other goals, like paying down debt, saving for a home, or putting more in your retirement savings. The conversation doesn't end here. Remember, your money questions have answers. Email me at lpainter@abc10.com and stream all of my Dollars and Cents stories right now on the free ABC10 Plus TV streaming app.
Kings Canyon National Park has some of the steepest and starkest mountains in North America, with numerous peaks over 14,000 feet. But tucked away in the steep marble walls of the canyons is a hole in the mountain called Boyden Cavern.
So who discovered this cave?
His name was Putnam Boyden. Is definitely not the first one to discover it, but the first one credited with it. Took out a mining claim in 1907.
Mariah Zuniga is a cave naturalist and tour guide and says though Boyden Cavern is covered in sparkling minerals, Putnam Boyden wasn't actually looking to mine them.
But I see all these crystals around here, sparkly things. Aren't those like diamonds or something?
Those are calcite, and they're not, I guess they are technically mineable, but he more so was looking to preserve the cave.
Not only did Putnam protect the cave, he turned it into his home, and to make a little money on the side, Putnam would give candlelight tours of the place to curious travelers.
For 10 years, from 1907 to 1917.
10 years?
10 years.
Even through the winter?
Yeah, so that's the thing, is like the cave is a constant 55, so in the winter it would have been a place to stay alive.
Today, modern lighting helps tourists navigate through the 750-foot-long cave, which winds through marble halls, narrow chambers, and even a small underground stream.
Rain hits the top of the cave, essentially wakes its way through, picking up carbon dioxide from plants and animal, creating an acid, and then once it opens to the oxygen of the cave, it creates calcite, which is the mineral all the formations are made of.
Mineral formations can be found all over the cave, many of which have been given some pretty odd names. Take, for example, Mother Nature's wedding cake, a multi-tiered flowstone formation, and the Upside-Down City, a ceiling filled with small stalactites. However, my favorite formation is cave bacon.
So that red spot, that's like the darker meat of the bacon, is iron, and then the lighter part is calcite, that calcite deposit that we're looking at.
What does the bacon taste like? Is it any good?
I have not tasted it.
Water helped form the cave, and water is a big part of the tour.
It's a good thing we wore sandals, otherwise you'd have wet socks the whole way home.
Visitors have the choice of two different cave trails, either the much drier paved trail or the soggy wild cave trail.
You really gotta duck and dodge down here.
And along with wet shoes, you may even encounter some cave wildlife.
That is a big spider.
Beyond its geological significance, Boyden Cavern serves as a reminder to the delicate balance between natural preservation and public access. Thanks to Putnam Boyden, ongoing conservation efforts ensure that tours are conducted responsibly to minimize human impact.
From Boyden Cavern, I'm John Bartel. Hope to see you on the back roads.
All right, tonight in our Champions of Hope, we're introducing you to a local family whose journey through grief is really leading them somewhere unexpected, not just towards healing, but also towards helping others. And now they're planting the seed of something much bigger, a place where love and loss can live side by side.
Birthday beatboxing.
Good luck with that. You're taking the stand.
Olivia was funny. She was super caring. Reach the stars. She just cared about everyone, but she was also a prankster. Okay, cool. She loved life. This is now my freedom!
Olivia Chan left a mark on everyone she met.
Honestly, she was the glue to our family. And so when she ended up passing, it was quiet.
And unexpected. What started as a bellyache.
So I took her to the pediatrician. Pediatrician confirmed, like, yeah, it takes her a couple weeks to get over the stomach bug, but she'll bounce right back. So we get home, and sure enough, later that afternoon, she's running around and she's jumping off the couch. She's FaceTiming my sister.
Quickly took a turn. When Olivia started feeling sick again, her parents, Raina and Mel, took her back to the doctor.
And so he carries her into the ER, and I'm calling, for nurses and doctors, and I'm like, you guys have to help her, there's something wrong. And so at that point, she was completely paralyzed on her right side of her body. And that's when they took her in to get a CT scan. And that's when they discovered a massive brain bleed.
And then the Chans got more unexpected news.
A couple hours later, a doctor comes in and he says, we think she has a really rare form of blood cancer. And we're like, okay, well, what do we deal with first? Are we going to deal with the aneurysm, the cancer? What are we doing?
Doctors performed multiple surgeries on Olivia while trying to treat her cancer. But in just 3 days of her diagnosis, Olivia died.
It was probably one of the hardest things that we had to go through. But it was surreal because, she was playing soccer. She was running around. She had just turned 9.
Happy birthday to you.
Olivia's death, an unimaginable loss they then had to explain to their son.
I remember calling him and I said, hey, we're going to be in the hospital a lot longer than I thought. Olivia's not doing well. And his response was, well, what do you mean? No one dies from a stomach flu, right? I said, yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be home in a couple hours. And that was the last thing that I said to him, that she'll be okay. And and 3 days later, we had to tell them that she wasn't coming home.
The Chans tried therapy and searched for ways to help their family with the grief, but nothing stuck. Then they found the Dougie Center, a nonprofit in Oregon.
We were able to be around families who had gone through a similar loss or just a loss, and they understood exactly what we were feeling. There's no explanation needed, and they just got it.
The Chans are now bringing the same concept to Sacramento, creating the Olivia Chan Foundation built around the values she embodied: kindness, connection, and care. Their foundation seal inspired by
Lucky is Olivia's favorite unicorn, so we thought it was just fitting to make Lucky our official mascot.
Olivia's parents turning to the things that reminded them the most of her.
I wish I was a grown-up. I wish I was a unicorn. She probably wrote this when maybe she was about 5 or 6 years old, so we found this in her journal, and we put this on all of our t-shirts.
Their foundation now helps families navigating the painful journey of losing a child, offering free peer support, resources, and community.
So these are just a few things that we do at our program.
From care packages and books to activities like Message in a Bubble.
So we tell them to write their message here, stick it in the bubble, and then blow it into the air.
The foundation's ultimate goal is to open a free grief center in Sacramento and model it off the Dougie Center.
To be able to give the kids that safe space to talk about their loss, it's an amazing thing because they can all relate to each other.
Through Lucky the unicorn, a symbol of hope and Olivia's spirit, and the foundation's work, Olivia's story continues.
There's no getting past this, and I think that's what we've learned. Grief is lifelong. And so that's what we love about this this model, is because you could come for as long as you need, and when you're ready to go on your way, you can go, and then you're free to come back.
Her legacy isn't just one of loss, but of love shared, grief transformed, and a family choosing to give back even in the face of heartbreak. Because when love is that strong, it doesn't end.
She was just wonderful. She was the best thing that happened to us.
It finds a way forward. And the Olivia Chan Foundation meets at the Greenhaven Neighborhood Church every other Monday. If you are wanting some more information, you can head over to our website at abc10.com.
Thanks for watching ABC 10 Plus this week. We are here 24/7 on the free ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app. You can get your local news and weather anytime, anywhere. I'm Chris Thomas. We'll see you next time.
We're in day one of a weather impact alert.
Tracking a couple big weather impacts, including a red flag warning and big heat developing.
Heavy rain continues. I hear it on the roof right now. We're already seeing the impact of the storm.
We're planning for those changes.
Triple-digit heat leading to cancellations and concerns. Stay fire ready.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on ABC 10 Plus.